5 signs God is making a way for you. Listen up. I need you to hear me right now because somebody in this room is on the verge of a breakthrough, but you don't even see it yet. You're looking at your life, thinking it's falling apart, but I'm here to tell you it's falling into place. See, when God is moving, it don't always make sense. When He's clearing the path, sometimes it feels like you're losing, but really, you're winning. Too many people give up too soon because they don't recognize the signs. They don't see that God is setting them up for something greater. But today we're about to change that. I'm gonna give you 5 signs that God is making a way for you. 5 ways you can know He's working, even when you can't see it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Closed doors * rejection is one of the hardest things to face in life. It shakes your confidence, makes you question your worth, and sometimes even makes you wonder if God has forgotten about you. But listen to me, when God closes a door, it's not because He's punishing you, it's because He's protecting you. He's redirecting you to something better, something bigger, something you can't even see right now. Think about it. You prayed for an opportunity, and then the door slammed shut in your face. You worked hard for that promotion, but they gave it to someone else. You thought that relationship was the one, but suddenly it ended, and now you're sitting there, wondering, God, why? But what if I told you that rejection is one of the clearest signs that God is making a way for you? Look at your life. How many times have you wanted something so badly, only to realize later that it wasn't meant for you? How many times did you cry over something that you're now thanking God for? That's because God sees what you can't. He hears conversations you'll never hear. He knows what's ahead, and He knows what would destroy you if He let you have it too soon. Sometimes, God has to close a door to push you into your destiny. If He didn't, you'd settle for less than what He has planned. You'd get too comfortable in a place that was only meant to be temporary. So He allows rejection, disappointment, and even heartbreak to move you. Because if He didn't, you'd never leave, you'd never grow, you'd never step into the purpose He created for you. Let me make this real for you. There are people who got rejected from their dream job, only to find out later that the company went bankrupt. There are people who got left by someone they thought they'd marry, only to meet the person who truly loves and respects them. There are businesses that failed, only to make room for something even greater. What you see as a setback is really a setup. What feels like rejection is really God's redirection. You have to trust Him. You have to believe that He knows what He's doing. Because if He's closing a door, it means He's getting ready to open a better one. The problem is, too many people waste time trying to force their way through doors God has already locked. They keep knocking, begging, and chasing after something that was never meant for them. And in the process, they miss the blessing that's waiting just around the corner. You have to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, see it as guidance. Instead of crying over a closed door, start thanking God for protecting you from what wasn't meant for you. Because one day, you're going to look back and realize that every no was leading you to a greater yes. So, if you're facing rejection right now, don't get discouraged. Stand up, wipe your tears, and get ready, because God is making a way. And when that new door opens, you'll understand why the old one had to close. Keep trusting, keep believing. Your breakthrough is coming. Uncomfortable growth * growth is never comfortable. It stretches you, challenges you, and forces you to step outside of what feels familiar. But listen to me if you're feeling uncomfortable right now, if life feels tough, if you're being pushed in ways you've never been pushed before, that's a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. He never calls you to stay the same. He calls you to grow, to evolve, to become everything He created you to be. And sometimes, that means walking through seasons that don't make sense. When God is making a way for you, He allows discomfort to push you forward. He removes the crutches you've been leaning on so you can learn to stand on your own. He takes away distractions so you can focus on what truly matters. He allows you to go through storms, not to break you, but to build you, because without resistance, there is no growth. Without pressure, there is no transformation. Think about a seed. When it's buried in the ground, it's in total darkness. It's isolated. It's covered. It looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, that seed is breaking open. It's expanding. It's pushing through the dirt. It's growing into what it was always meant to be. And if you're in a season of discomfort, that's what's happening to you. You're being stretched. You're being prepared. You're being positioned for the next level. The problem is, too many people run from discomfort. The moment things get hard, they give up. The moment things feel uncertain, they go back to what's familiar. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. If you want to step into the blessings God has for you, you have to be willing to endure the process. You have to embrace the stretching, even when it hurts. You have to trust that the discomfort is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to develop you. Look at the people who have achieved great things. None of them got there without struggle. None of them reached their purpose without pain. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is that successful people don't quit when it gets hard. They don't run when things get uncomfortable. They lean in, they keep pushing, they keep trusting, because they know that discomfort is a sign that they're growing. You might be in a season right now where you feel like everything is falling apart. Maybe you're being tested in ways you never expected. Maybe you're facing challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But I need you to understand this is not the end of your story. This is the process. This is the preparation. This is God stretching you, though you can step into the blessings He has already planned for you. So don't run from the discomfort. Don't fight the process. Lean into it. Embrace it. Because the very thing that feels like it's breaking you is actually making you. The pressure you're feeling is shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And one day, when you look back on this season, you'll realize that every challenge, every hardship, every uncomfortable moment was necessary for your growth. Keep pushing. Keep trusting. God is making a way, and this discomfort is proof that you're on the right path. Stay strong, your breakthrough is coming. Divine connections * the right people at the right time can change everything. When God is making a way for you, He places divine connections in your life, people who push you, challenge you, and elevate you to the next level. These are not just random encounters or coincidences. These are orchestrated moments, divine alignments designed to move you into your purpose. But here's the catch: you have to recognize them, you have to be open to them, and sometimes you have to let go of the wrong people to make room for the right ones. Too often, People miss their blessing because they're holding onto relationships that no longer serve them. They're clinging to people who were only meant to be in their life for a season. When God is shifting you, He will start to remove people who no longer align with your destiny. This can be painful. It can feel like rejection. It can feel like betrayal. But in reality, it's God protecting you. It's Him clearing the path so that the right people can come in. You might notice that certain friendships are starting to fade. Conversations that once felt natural now feel forced. People who used to support you are now distant. Pay attention to that. God is showing you that not everyone can go where He's taking you. And if you try to hold onto people who are never meant to be part of your next chapter, you will only slow down your progress. But when you're aligned with God's plan, He will introduce you to the right people. Suddenly, you'll meet someone who speaks life into you, who encourages you to chase your dreams, who believes in you when you doubt yourself. You'll find mentors who guide you, friends who uplift you, and partners who push you to become the best version of yourself. These people won't feel like competition. They won't drain your energy. They will inspire you, motivate you, and challenge you to grow. Look back on your life. Think about the moments when one connection changed everything for you. Maybe someone recommended you for a job that set you on a new path. Maybe a mentor gave you advice that completely shifted your mindset. Maybe a friendship pushed you to take a leap of faith that you never would have taken on your own. These are divine connections, and when God is making a way, He will place more of them in your path. The key is to be open. You can't be so caught up in your old circles that you miss the new ones God is trying to introduce you to. You have to be willing to walk away from what's familiar in order to step into what's destined. You have to trust that when one door closes, another will open, one that leads to relationships that truly align with your purpose. So, if you're feeling like people are leaving, if you're noticing shifts in your friendships and connections, don't panic. This is not a loss. This is God making space. Pay attention to the people He is bringing into your life. Pay attention to the ones who push you closer to your goals, who challenge you to grow, who remind you of who you are when you forget. These are the people who will walk with you into your destiny. Stay open, stay aware, and stay ready. Because when the right people enter your life, everything will start to change. And when you look back, you'll see that every connection, every meeting, every divine appointment was all part of God's plan to make a way for you. Keep trusting your divine connections are on the way. Inner peace * peace in the middle of chaos is not normal. When everything around you is uncertain, when life is throwing challenges your way, when doors are closing and nothing seems to make sense, yet deep down you feel calm, that is not by accident. That is God. That is His way of showing you that He is in control. When God is making a way for you, one of the clearest signs is an uncheckable peace that doesn't match your circumstances. You may not have all the answers, you may not see the whole picture, but something inside you just knows everything is going to be okay. This kind of peace is different from the temporary comfort that comes from outside sources. It's not about having money in the bank, a perfect plan, or a smooth path ahead. It's the kind of peace that remains even when things don't go the way you expected. It's the peace that says, I don't know how, but I know God's got me. It's the kind of peace that allows you to sleep at night when the world says you should be panicking. When you truly trust that God is working on your behalf, your spirit settles. You stop forcing things to happen. You stop running around, trying to control everything. You stop stressing over things that are out of your hands. That's when you know God is leading the way, because you're no longer fighting the process. You're resting in His plan. Too often, people mistake peace for passivity. They think that being at peace means doing nothing, but real peace comes with action. It's just a different kind of action. It's moving forward without fear. It's making decisions without anxiety. It's walking through storms without losing your mind. It's knowing that even if things don't happen the way you want, they will happen the way they're supposed to. Think about all the times in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost a job, went through a breakup, or faced a major setback. At first, it felt like the end of the world. But somehow, some way, things worked out. Somehow, you made it through. And if you really think about it, you'll remember that there was a moment, even in the struggle, where you just knew deep down that you were going to be okay. That wasn't your strength, that was God's peace. The world operates in stress. Society tells you that if things aren't going your way, you should be worried, anxious, and afraid. But when you walk with God, He gives you a different response. He gives you stillness in the storm. He gives you clarity when everything seems confusing. He gives you peace that doesn't make sense to anyone else. And that peace is proof that He is making a way. So, if you're in a season where things are uncertain, but your heart feels at ease, don't ignore that. That is God speaking to you. That is His way of saying, I've got this. I've got you. And even if the road ahead isn't clear, even if you don't know the next step, trust the peace He has placed inside of you, because that peace is the confirmation that He is working, even when you can't see it. Keep trusting, keep walking, and keep believing. If you have that peace, you already have your answer. God is making a way, and everything is going to fall into place exactly as it should. Unexplainable favor. There are moments in life when things start happening that you can't explain. Doors open that you never knocked on. Opportunities come that you never asked for. People step into your life at just the right time, and blessings seem to appear out of nowhere. That is not luck. That is not coincidence. That is God's favor. When God is making a way for you, one of the clearest signs is unexplainable favor, things working out in ways you could have never arranged on your own. Favor is when you walk into situations you aren't even qualified for, but somehow you still get chosen. It's when you don't have the resources, but things come together anyway. It's when you get opportunities that others worked years for, and you know deep down that it wasn't just your effort, it was divine intervention. Favor is when God moves things on your behalf, not because you earned it, but because He planned it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to figure out God's favor. They try to explain it, they try to analyze it, and they try to rationalize it. But favor doesn't make sense. Favor is when something works out for you, and even you can't explain how it happened. It's when you get the job even though there were people more qualified. It's when you receive help at just the right moment when you thought there was no way forward. It's when a setback turns into a blessing that you never saw coming. The key to walking in favor is understanding that it's not about what you deserve, it's about what God has already planned for you. Favor is not something you chase, It's something you align yourself with. When you are walking in your purpose, when you are following God's path for your life, favor follows you. You don't have to force it. You don't have to manipulate situations to get it. God places you where you need to be at the right time, with the right people, and in the right circumstances. The challenge is that many people block their own favor by trying to control everything. They want things to happen a certain way, on a certain timeline, and when it doesn't happen the way they expect, they get discouraged. But sometimes, the delay is part of the favor. Sometimes, the closed doors are part of the favor. Sometimes, what looks like a setback is really a setup for something greater. Think about all the times in your life when something unexpected worked in your favor. Maybe you missed out on an opportunity, only to find out later that it wouldn't have been good for you. Maybe you were struggling to make ends meet, and then out of nowhere, a blessing came that covered exactly what you needed. That's how God works. He is always moving, always orchestrating things behind the scenes, always making a way even when you don't see it. When you walk in God's favor, you don't have to beg for blessings. You don't have to chase after things that aren't meant for you. You don't have to manipulate situations to go in your favor. You just have to trust. Trust that what is meant for you will find you. Trust that God's plan is bigger than your plan. Trust that the favor on your life will open doors that no one can shut. So if things are happening in your life that you can't explain, if blessings are showing up that you didn't even pray for, if opportunities are coming that you know you couldn't have created on your own, that is a sign. That is proof that God is making a way. Walk in that favor. Embrace it, and know that the best is yet to come.